welcome to today's lesson about making line plots. Line plots are another type of graph that we use to analyze data. So let's jump in to see what that looks like. Before we really get started, we're going to do the problem of the day. As usual, you can pause the video, solve on your own, and then check the answer. If you're ready to go, we can go ahead and work together. It says Pete saved a dime each day for 4 days. Use the table to find the total amount he saved after each day. Well, this is similar to what we were doing yesterday with the word problems by making a table. So dime is worth 10 cents. So it looks like we're combining all the information we know. He saved a dime each day for 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if a dime is worth 10 cents each and we want to know the amount he saved, we're not just going to put 1 dime, 2 dime. We're going to put the value of the dime. So he had 10 cents. Then he had another dime, 20 cents. Another dime, 30 cents. And one last dime, 40 cents. And that's all you got to do. We were able to find that he collected 40 cents in all. Let's go to our next problem. So we have students, number of books. 1 student had 20 books, 2 had 40, 3 had 60. Each student in the library has to shelve the same number of books. How many books will 6 students shelve? Well, it looks like we're going to have to make a bigger table. Then we can continue the pattern that we see here. Oh, wrong button. We continue the pattern of, I'll put S for students and B for books. We had 1 is 20, 2 is 40, 3 is 60. Looks like they're counting by 20s. See, 2, 4, 6, 20, 40, 60. Let's continue this to 6. 60, 80, 100, 120. So 6 students will shelve 120 books. Must be a big library. So they're putting all the books back on the shelves. So now we can continue it on. I actually ran out of room here, so I'm going to do it again. Following our pattern all the way to 10 this time, because how many books will 10 students shelve? We had 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200 books. Making tables are very useful. It's all about looking for patterns. Now that we've warmed up our brain, we're ready to dive into today's lesson. Miss McMahon, what is a line plot? Well, a line plot is a graph that uses a line with the amount on it, the number, and to keep track of the value, instead of having another axis like we've had before in bar graphs or picture graphs where there's like another line going up, you keep track of each tally by using an X. So it says a survey is conducted to find the number of states visited. Use the tally chart to make a line plot. Well, we find 1. It looks like there were 5 who visited 1 state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you put 5 X's. Looks like for 2, we'll find 2 here. There were 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to be careful so I can line up my X's as close as possible. So it makes my chart easier to read. So if I made my X's here huge and they look taller than the 5, it would be harder to understand my graph. Oh no! No, there it is. So now 3, there were 6. For 4, there was 5. For 5, there was 2. And for 6, there was 3. And there you have it. There's our line plot. So a line plot is where you just make a graph with a single line. All right, sometimes they'll give you all the information in a very big paragraph, just like this. So we're going to read the paragraph together, underlining important information. Mrs. Garrett asked 16 students how many times they visited the museum. 4 students have not been to the museum. 3 students have been 1 time. 2 students have been 3 times. 5 students have been 6 times. And the rest of the students have been 7 times. Use the data that Mrs. Garrett collected to make a line plot. And she had 16 students. Well, we have a lot of information to work with here. Let's start. I'm actually going to make a tally chart to get us started. So 4 students have not. I'll be visits, number of visits, and then S for students. So, 0 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 4 students have not been to the museum. So 4 students have had 0 visits. 3 students have been 1 time. Okay. 2 students have been 3 times. Oh, no students have gone this, so it's 0. They skipped 2 visits. 2 students have been 3 times. 5 students have been 6 times. So it looks like nobody went for 4 or for 5. And how many for 7? So we have to find our total.
To do that, what you need to do is go in and add what you have so far. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5. Well, I know that's 7 and that's 7. That's easier to count doubles. So 14 students voted so far. Now we take the total in the class, subtract it from what we know so far, and that gives us 2 students left over. So 2 students must have gone 7 times. Now we use this information to make our chart. 0 visits, 4 students. 1 visit, 3 students. Nobody for 2. Looks like 2 students for 3 visits. Nothing for 4 or 5. 5 students for 6. And 2 students for 7. It takes some extra work when you have a paragraph like that to find all the information, but it's definitely worth it. When you look at all the work we did to get this line plot, it's easier to understand the data when we look at it in a very simple way like this. Now in your packet, you have an Explore and Explain page that looks like this.
All right, now we have our information. Let's read it through. Chase asked 10 students how many servings of fruit and vegetables they eat each day. 3 people eat 2 servings. Draw 3 X's over the number 2. So it's a little different than we've done before. So the line represents, I'm going to write here so I remember, it represents the number of servings. So not how many students, but the number of servings. And the X's equals the number of students. Okay, so 3 X's on a 2. So 3 students have 2 servings. 6 people eat 5 servings. So draw 6 X's over number 5. 1 person eats 7 servings. Draw 1 X over the number 7. And there you have it. Our line graph showing each X is how many students have how many servings of fruits and vegetables. A line plot is a way to organize data. Line plots are used to see how often a certain number occurs in the data. Mr. Sun's students marked their ages on a tally chart. They made a line plot using the data. So the students in his class are 7, 8, and 9 years old. it looks like they have the bottom axis represents the age of the students, and the X's represent how many students are that age. So go ahead and trace that in your own packet. 3 students for 7, 5 students for 8, and 2 students for 9. We've done a lot of practice today. I believe in you to get going on all of these questions today. I know you've got this. I can't wait to see all the great work you do. Make sure when you get started, you're very careful about what goes on which axis. Whenever it has the tally mark, those are usually what turns into X's. So be careful about that. When it tells you the number of something like pets, that's what goes here. So use the tally chart to make a line plot. You've got this. Bye, guys.